Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before I start today's video, I would like to thank you all so much for being here and for all your amazing support. I am starting from ground zero, and every single like, every single share and every single subscribe means a lot and helps me to get my word out. Just as a reminder, I have created this channel to summarize the most important ideas in every single book I read and deliver it to you guys in the form of short video. I really hope that this content is useful and that you guys use it for the benefit of your everyday life. Today's book is called The Power of Habit. The author is Charles Duhigg, and since the publication of this book in 2012, it is still considered one of the best works about the science of habits. I would like to kickstart today's video with a very short story. The story starts with a group of young fish swimming towards a specific place. While they're swimming, they passed an older fish who was swimming the opposite way. The older fish nodded at the big group and said, "Good morning, fellas. How is the water looking for you today?" And so the group kept swimming, and eventually one of them said surprised, "What the hell is water?" So I want you to focus here and pay close attention with me. You might be wondering, why the heck did I include this story here? What does it have to do with today's video? So to answer your question, I included this story here because this is us too. This is how we live our everyday lives. We live our lives being controlled by our automatic habits. Water in the story is basically those automatic habits. Our habits control more than 50% of our daily decisions, whether they are good or bad. To control and master our lives, we need to understand how our habits formed and how we can manipulate them and change them for our benefit. Let's take an example. Let's talk about Jack. Jack was just a normal guy, and like many of us, after a long, hard day at work, he just likes to sit down, relax, and watch some Netflix. But Jack's problem was this. Every time he would sit down to watch Netflix, unconsciously, he would walk to his fridge, grab a big bowl of ice cream, and he would snack on this big bowl of ice cream. And I think a lot of us would resonate with this. A lot of us have the same problem, whether it was binge watching on Netflix or just uncontrolled snacking before bedtime. Anyway, Jack just couldn't control this bad habit. Anytime he thinks about watching TV, automatically he would just go to the freezer and grab this big bowl of ice cream. He was gaining weight slowly, and he really wanted to stop that, and he wanted to start losing that extra weight. And just by coincidence, he was reading the amazing book of Power of Habit, and in one section of the book, he read that you cannot erase a bad habit. However, you can always replace this habit with a new one. And so let's take a second here and let's actually define what habits are and how they are formed in the first place. Well, what scientists say is that our brains are always looking for ways to save energy, time, and power. If you think about this in terms of evolution, our brains have developed in a way where they take all the repeated actions that we do daily and they store them in the brain as habits. And if we want to understand the habits, then we better understand the concept of the habit loop. The habit loop is a term used by the author to explain how our habits form, and this term consists of three things. First is what we call a cue or a trigger. A cue or a trigger is something that reminds you that you have to do a specific routine and triggers you to start this routine. It actually tells your brain to go into automatic mode, and it could be a feeling, it could be an action, or just a specific time. Number two is the routine, which is the actual action that is done, whether it is good or bad. It could be physical, it could be mental, or it could be emotional. Number three is the reward, which is something that encodes and stores the new habit into your brain. The reward is the thing that makes you repeat this habit, because you get a good feeling from it. The feeling is driven by a rush of dopamine and sometimes serotonin once you get that reward. And just as a quick recap, Jack's cue was the need to feel relaxed after a long day at work. His routine was watching Netflix and eating his ice cream. And finally, his reward was the good and happy feeling he got after the rush of dopamine. So for Jack to replace this habit, he needs to use a new concept that we need to introduce here. It's called the golden rule of habit change. What this rule says is that he basically needs to keep their cue and the reward untouched, and then he needs to swoop in and change the routine. So first, Jack tried to change his routine by replacing the ice cream with a big bowl of healthy salad. Switching the ice cream with a big bowl of salad worked only for a couple of days, but Jack missed the sweet taste of ice cream. He couldn't make this new habit stick, and he needed something to make it stick. He needed this rush of dopamine. And the solution was by adding a piece of dark chocolate that was naturally sweetened by stevia. For the people who don't know, stevia is just a natural sweetener that contains zero sugar. So this worked out really well with him. He felt good afterwards, and he slept better. He woke up energized the next day, he started losing weight, and even he started going to the gym. We call this powerful thing a keystone habit. Keystone habits are habits that have the power to start a chain reaction of other habits. They actually transform everything over time. Just 2 months after Jack started eating the salad, he started losing the extra weight he carried. This motivated him, and he had a better feeling about himself, so he started going to the gym. Well, after going to the gym for a while, he understood that he needed more sleep to grow muscles, so he started sleeping earlier and waking up refreshed the next morning. A couple of months after that, he realized that watching Netflix did not bring him any value, so he started taking an online course at night time which taught him a new skill, and this skill started making him an extra income on the side. I would challenge you, as a resolution for 2020, try replacing one bad habit in your life with something better for at least 2 weeks. Stick to it and see how big of a difference this will make in your life. If you don't work out, then maybe start working out twice a week. If you eat a lot of fast food, try to limit that to twice a week or maybe once a week and go from there. If you don't read at all, then maybe start reading 10 minutes daily, and so on. The second part of this book talks about how habits drive companies and communities. Big companies take advantage of the concept of habit loop. Let's take Starbucks for example. They actually teach their employees and train them to use specific habits to deal with customers. This is what made Starbucks stand out, especially with their customer service. Starbucks actually teaches their employees a technique that they would use when they faced a situation with an angry customer. The technique is called the latte technique. L in latte stands for listen to the customer. A stands for acknowledge their complaints. T stands for to take action by solving the problem. The other T stands for thank you. E, explain why the problem occurred. It became a habit for the employees that every time there is a problem with the customer, they take a step back and they actually think about the latte method. Other companies have specific departments to study the customer's shopping habits. An example of that is the well-known store Target. They study your shopping habits based on your store credit card. Then they start sending you coupons on the stuff that you seem to like and that you are most likely want to buy. For example, let's say you go to the gym, so you are more likely to buy some type of a protein powder. So now, Target knows that you go to the gym, so they might offer you a discount on some protein bar or anything else related to the gym, maybe like a pre-workout drink, gym shorts, anything that you might want to buy from Target just because you go to the gym. So as a quick summary for today's video, make sure you understand the concept of habit loop and how it consists of a cue, routine, and reward. And how if you want to replace a habit, you want to use the concept of golden rule of habit change by swiping only the routine and keeping your cue and reward the same. Guys, before I finish this video, I just want to mention that we have the power to change and replace any habit we have. We just need to put in the time to research those habits. We have to write them down, write the possible cues, rewards, and routines, and then by experimenting, by trying and error, this can help us identify and replace the ones that we don't want and introduce the ones that we want. Before I end this video, I just want to thank you so much for being here and for supporting me. If you like this content, please support me with a like, share, and subscribe. This way you help me get more out there and reach other people as well. And please, if you have any suggestions for a book or a topic for next week's video, Let me know in the comments section. Have a wonderful day. Peace.